I want to talk some Todd Helton. Who thinks that is incredible that he got into Baseball Hall of Fame? Kudos to Todd Helton. I'm so incredibly happy for him. You can talk about all you want to, the thin air in Colorado, but his extended, fantastic career is one that should be in the Hall of Fame. I believe that firmly. I don't think, though, he would have made it had it not been for the huge number and group of guys that were in the steroid era that might have bumped him out and kept him from getting in. So I'm glad he gets in, a guy that was right for the game. I told my story earlier about when he was drafted in 92 to the Padres, and we're senior trip, and I was right outside the door when he got drafted. But I could tell you more stories. I certainly miss his late father, who I used to work out with and see on a regular basis at the gym. Just a fantastic dude. But I will tell you one thing that gets, I believe, lost in Todd Helton when we talk about baseball players is I did play-by-play for Central High School when Zach Helton was a too small quarterback for college, but a great high school player. He was an incredible athlete. His dad could lay down and on the bench and push 225 for reps, and I'd only see him do 1 or 2 working sets every couple of weeks. There is a difference between just God-given natural talent, and I think sometimes we overlook how special Todd Helton was to be able to take competent snaps in the SEC and then be one of the best baseball players of his generation. You can find, I'm sure, memorabilia for Todd at Sports Treasures, carrying over 5 million sports treasures and so much more. Follow on Facebook for the best sports memorabilia daily updates. You can go to Facebook and follow them on Sports Treasures TN. That's Sports Treasures TN. What do you think of Todd Helton? I've never asked you before.
Let's address the whole thin air comment, because everybody says that, him playing in Colorado. You want to know what Todd Helton's OPS was away from home for his career?
It was actually better, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was still better at home, but like still, okay. His OPS away from home was no, it was good. It was 855. His OPS away from home was 855. For context, Ken Griffey Jr., who everybody agrees should be in the Hall of Fame, was only at 860 for OPS for his career. Now, that should tell you that Todd Helton was legitimately good, even if the thin air fueled him. OPS is the most important stat for offense. You don't even need any other stat in baseball anymore. That's all you need is OPS. And Todd Helton was parallel with Ken Griffey Jr., the most marketable baseball player of the 1990s and of his era. So he absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame. I think the thing that sticks out about Todd Helton to me is that obviously he wanted to go focus. I think Todd Helton, he committed and he was teammates with Heath Shuler and then Peyton Manning. I think Todd Helton realized the reason I had read stories, the reason he wanted to go concentrate on baseball was because he kind of realized he wasn't on Heath Shuler's level, and that kind of made him realize that he wasn't going to be an NFL quarterback. But he still, for those who don't know this, he still stayed on the 94 team because the coaches wanted him to help bring Peyton Manning along. It wasn't for, that's why he did it, just to help out with the young quarterbacks on the roster that were the future of the team. And then he gets thrust into being the starting quarterback, which he didn't plan to do. And, you know, he actually got a pretty impressive win. Go back and watch that game at Athens against Georgia. Georgia was actually probably the better team that year. I think James Stewart just absolutely torched Georgia in the second game of the 94 season. Almost brought him back to beat UCLA. I think Todd Helton did that because he loved Tennessee and he's a great guy. And that's the only reason he did it, because he could have solely focused on baseball. And honestly, he risked his baseball career. He got hurt playing quarterback at Tennessee.
He's the ultimate volunteer for a couple of different reasons. Because I think volunteer has to do with loyalty. You know, we think balls, we go think of course, protecting the Alamo and the charge, but a part of being from the Mexican Army, but part of that too, right, Caleb, is not leaving. I mean, you can volunteer and go, and then when things get bad, sneak out the back door. Todd Helton didn't do that. He stayed at Colorado, and I know from the days of working out with his dad, that was a touchy subject. Let me tell you why. Apex Apparel Group. If you own a business, go to yourapexapparel.com. It is right below, or just call Tyler, 865-919-3001, 865-919-3001. And whether it's mugs, shirts, whatever you need, he'll make sure your business is outfitted. Do me that favor. If you own a business, click right below your Apex Apparel. You'll be happy that you did. So with Todd Helton and working out with his dad, there was a feeling amongst the family, and this is some inside insight that you just won't get anywhere else. But there was a feeling amongst the family that it's time, when he signed that big deal with the Rockies, that he should go to a team like the Yankees, that he wouldn't make the Hall of Fame. And that was specifically discussed if he stayed in Colorado. Unfair or not, they thought that would always be used against him. So what did he do? He stayed with Colorado, and he was loyal to that area because he loved those fans. He's got like a 400-acre ranch out there. I say good for him. And I wanted him to be a Yankee. I would have probably bought the Dad Blame jersey. But, I mean, good for him for not taking the easy way out. Same thing at Tennessee. He wanted to play football for Tennessee, and he was drafted in the second round of the Padres. By the Padres before that happened. Who does that? Who goes to their home school when there's that type of money at stake and no NIL dollars, and leads Tennessee to one of the most special times in their college baseball history? Who does those sorts of things? I think he's incredibly underrated as one of the most beloved Vols of all time. And by the way, there's no question that Del Murphy belongs in the Hall of Fame as well. But let's talk Todd. Did you know all that about Todd? Some of that surprised you?
A little bit. I did not know that he looked into going to the Yankees. That's a really impressive story. I had no idea about that. Yeah, that's it. You kind of really wish you could have. I know Colorado made the World Series in 2007. I actually thought they had a better team than Boston that year. The problem was, and Dave, how many times have you seen this? And this is the problem with baseball in the postseason. The Rockies swept their way to the World Series, and the Red Sox won a bunch of 7-game series to get there. So by the time the Red Sox had gotten there, they had been playing fresh, and the Rockies had been off for like a week. And in baseball, it's so much more about being in rhythm. That's why nowadays in baseball, the first round bye is so stupid, which they do for the postseason now, because it hurts the team that gets the first round bye. You need to be in rhythm. And so I think that's an incredible story about Todd Helton. And by the way, guys, I put this up on Twitter, and I want to address this.
Can I ask you this real quick, Caleb?
Sure.
Go ahead. What you put on Twitter? Tell me that.
Tennessee hasn't had an in-state starting quarterback since Todd Helton in 1994. He gets inducted to the Hall of Fame the day after George McIntyre commits, who will be in probably 2026 the first in-state starting quarterback for Tennessee since Todd Helton.
Kind of writing off Merklinger. But anyway, if he's just
which, by the way, well, funny enough you say that, because
all over Merklinger, but
North Carolina has actually been low key the best state for quarterbacks at Tennessee. Heath Shuler, Jonathan Crompton, and Hendon Hooker, all from North Carolina.
Don't write off Merklinger yet.
I wrote off Taven Jackson last year, so I can do it with Merklinger.
Okay, if he's a Red Sox or a Yankee with the same numbers, he's already in the Hall of Fame like as soon as he's eligible, right? Like 5 years.
Yes. As a matter of fact, Red Sox and Yankees. Derek Jeter is a Hall of Famer, but Derek Jeter getting mentioned in the same breath as like the most elite names of baseball the last 30 years is absolutely laughable. Because Derek Jeter, when was Derek Jeter ever the best player in baseball? Never. He was never the best player on his own team. Okay? It's
not having this discussion.
He's not on Griffey's level. He was not on Barry Bonds' level. He was not on Frank Thomas's level. He was not on Jim Tome's level. He was not on Chipper Jones' level.
You're not factoring in leadership.
Oh my gosh. Hall of Fame is about production, not leadership.
He's definitely a Hall of Famer, though. We're not arguing that.
No, I agree. He's a Hall of Famer.
How long has it been since we heard the voice? I was enjoying that time. But he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Todd Helton was a better player than Derek Jeter. Clearly, Todd Helton was a better player than Derek Jeter.
Oh, him and Wilt, they do have a lot in common with women. Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, but Wilt
by the way,
actually was the best player in the NBA year in and year out when he played.
yeah, but he wasn't the best player on the streets. That's Derek. It's not quantity, it's quality.